Welcome to MMA Dawgs. My name is Hector, and I will be guiding you through this Halloween maze that we call UFC Fight Night 30, Lyoto Machida versus Munoz. Now, let's get the disclosures out of the way first. So, first thing is you have to bet responsibly. Second thing is make sure that where you're betting is legal. And let's just dive straight into these betting picks. Now, for this particular event, we have 5 guaranteed betting picks. So that means we have 5 fighters who fall in the categories which are as follows. So the first one is 3 stars. That is a small to medium play. And those particular fighters are do not parlay. 4 stars. Those are medium to large plays, and they are parlay worthy. Those 4 stars hit around 80% of the time. And then we have 5 stars, which is a large to huge play. Those are also parlay worthy, and those have hit at a 100% rate. So let's go straight to number 5, so we'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, and then the number 1 guy. So number 5, we have a 3-star play, and he goes by the name of Melvin Guillard. And right now he's sitting at around minus 135, which implies a 57% probability of winning. And Melvin Guillard, he is a very interesting fighter, and the reason I say that is because if Melvin Guillard wanted to, he could be in the top 4 at 155 pounds. But he's been a bit of a nomad lately. And, he was with the Black Zillions. Then he went to Colorado, trained with Whitman at Grudge. And now he's at American Top Team, which has a bunch of excellent fighters. He really has his pick of the litter as to who he can train with at 155 pounds over there. And Melvin says that he feels really good training at ATT, that the guys there make him have to push himself and have to have the cardio and the discipline to go 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds with a new training partner every single round, and that he feels the pressure to have to provide a good training partner for those guys. So I think he's in a good situation here. He is very close to home. His wife works very close by, so it's all right there for him. The reason why I can't go higher than 3 stars is because of the fact that he'll look really good for a couple fights, and then he won't look so good for a fight. He'll look good for a fight or two, so it's just back and forth. And with Ross Pearson, he's been training at Alliance with Michael Chandler, Miles Jury, Jeremy Stevens, and all those other beasts that provide a great. And then Norman Parke, another guy we'll be talking about here soon. So it becomes a situation where how much do you want to risk of your hard-earned dollars on a guy who isn't as consistent as he should be and as he would be better suited being. And so that's the tale there. And the reason why it is worthy of a 3-star play is because Ross Pearson has no intentions of taking this fight to the ground. And Melvin has a lot of power in those hands. We've seen it over and over and over in his career. So Melvin's not going to have to worry about the takedown, which is really going to open up his striking. It's really going to open up the ability to unleash, to set up things, and if anything, Melvin's going to be the one who's going to be able to take Ross down. And that's why I really like this matchup for Melvin. I did not like what I saw at the weigh-ins, where Melvin was behaving as if though him making weight was a surprise, when I've seen him in the past make weight and he appears to be and behaves more confidently, and he was almost acting like he was sweating it. And traveling, going overseas definitely makes it more difficult for some guys to make weight. But he made weight nonetheless, and I feel, like I said, it's a good matchup for him. He is going to have the ability to knock out Ross, and I would like to see a knockout in the second round. At worst, I decide I want to see him win a very convincing decision, but I expect Melvin to get the knockout here with not having to worry about the takedown. And we have seen Melvin improve on the ground, and so Melvin, solid 3-star pick. Number 4, we have another guy who I really like, and he really came on the scene for me when I saw him take on Honey Marks in Brazil, and this guy almost gave me a heart attack. Uriah Faber's older brother. We have Andrew Craig. And Andrew Craig, he is well-rounded. He can do it all. He's not a top 10 middleweight, but he is well-rounded. I like what I've seen from him. He does have cardio. He does have a chin, and I continually have seen him improve. I've seen a continuous improvement from Andrew Craig, and he is, in my opinion, on the verge of breaking into that top 15 middleweights. And on the other hand, we have Big Slow, Luke Barnatt, and with this guy, he has a lot of hype around him. He is going to have, at least this is a plan, Chael Sonnen corner him. He has been working with Dolce of the Dolce diet, so the commitment is definitely there. I see an opportunity here for Andrew Craig to not only, if he wants to, he can take the fight to the ground, and on the ground, Andrew Craig has a distinct advantage. But I also see an opportunity for Andrew Craig to knock out Luke Barnatt. And in Barnett's last fight with Colin Hart, I believe Colin Hart won that fight. And when I saw Andrew Craig sitting at around minus 175, as I've mentioned in the past, that's not the first thing I look at. I don't look at the odds. And of course, they are an essential part of this puzzle, and they're an essential part of whether somebody makes it worthy of betting on or not. But when I saw a line at around minus 175, which he sits at right now, it implies a probability of 63% chance of winning. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was expecting it to be around minus 300. So that means either one or two things. Either I'm underestimating Barnatt, the big slow guy, or the odds makers got it wrong, and the public who was betting the fight got it wrong. So, once again, I just see too many advantages for Andrew Craig. Yes, Barnatt may have closed that gap. He may have closed that gap by improving, by surrounding himself with a good team. But Jimmy Quinlan, as a main training partner, that's not going to make it. That's not going to cut it. He may have trained over here at the up north a little here, an hour away or so at Orange County. It's not going to be enough. Andrew Craig is going to bring the pain, and Andrew Craig is a solid 3-star pick here. Moving on to the number 3, the third guy here, and that is a guy who came on the scene for me when he fought very much like Andrew Craig, a fellow Brazilian in Honey Mark's fellow Brazilian in Sapo Natal. And Michael, the guy's name is Michael Kuiper. He's sitting at around minus 280, which implies a 73% chance of winning. And he's taking on a guy who really isn't well-rounded enough to be fighting in the UFC, let alone fighting a guy like Michael Kuiper. So, with that being said, I see Michael Kuiper having his way with his opponent here. They call him Kuiper Judo, or he's got good ground. He's got a good ground game, good jiu-jitsu, good judo. I believe he's a black belt in judo, and I see Kuiper having his way with him, whether he wants to take him down or even if he wants to strike. Kuiper recently changed camps. I see him having the ability to knock out his opponent here or take him down and submit him. Whatever he wants to do here, he should be able to do it, and that is why he is my number 3 pick. Now, as far as odds go, I like 73% chance of winning. That is about accurate. It could be even as high as 83 to 85% chance. So I really like Kuiper here. And for this one, I'm not really going to talk too much about it because Kuiper can beat him any which way he wants. He came in shape, weighed in at 185 pounds. I feel real confident in Michael Kuiper. And let's move on to the second pick of the night. A guy who didn't come in weight, but he is a 4-star pick because him not coming in weight does not surprise me at all. As a matter of fact, I expected it, and doesn't mean anything about whether he's in shape or not, because he is in shape. And his name is John Lineker. He's sitting at around minus 370, which implies 78% chance of winning. In my opinion, his chance of winning is even higher. It should be around it should be about 85% chance of winning here. And John Lineker, what can we say about him? He's got some of the biggest power, some of the strongest, biggest power at 125 pounds. These flyweights, I mean, he can knock out anybody at that weight class, and he's just another guy who continues to get better. I hope we get to see him against a guy like Benavidez or DJ or Dodson. I like to see him fight one of these upper top 3 guys who could win on any night. But John Lineker, very impressed by him. He's got that just powerful hands, and I see him going right through his opponent, getting a knockout in the first round, maybe in the second round, but definitely winning this fight. And like I said, there's no worries there about him missing weight. That's what he's been doing. So let's not worry about that. And the number 1 guy, the number 1 pick, he is 4 stars. Almost made it to 5 stars. Just barely missed it. And I'll talk about why. But man, the Karate Kid, this guy is just one of the top fighters in the world. Lyoto Machida, and he's sitting at around minus 360, which also implies around a 78% chance of winning. And the one thing, I mean, we could go on and on about this matchup, and I won't go on for too long because we got to cover other fights. But the one thing that stands out to me is the stylistic matchup. So Mark Munoz is an excellent wrestler, as we know, just awesome wrestler, right? But his takedowns aren't like GSPs. They're not like Chael Sonnen's. They're not explosive. He just kind of has to grind his way, pull guys down, and that's very, very, very bad matchup for a guy like Lyoto Machida, who can knock you out with a kick. He can knock you out with a punch. He basically do whatever he wants. He's got excellent timing, excellent awareness of distance, and just an awesome fighter to watch. And I have the utmost confidence that Lyoto Machida will knock out Mark Munoz tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow morning, depending on where you are in the world. The one thing that stands out to me a lot in this particular matchup is that these two guys have trained together, and the one thing that I know happens when these two guys train together is Lyoto Machida doesn't train with Mark Munoz and says, and Lyoto Machida doesn't say, "Oh wow, Mark Munoz, man, that is awesome. Thank you for teaching me that." It's the other way around. Mark Munoz is in awe of Lyoto Machida, and oh wow, Lyoto Machida, what a pleasure to train with you, and you know, and that's a psychological thing, you know, when one guy trains with another guy. And just like anything in life, you know, that where you work with somebody, or perhaps you whatever, you know, sports you play or whatever hobbies you're into, and you get to play against someone who you look up to and somebody who you are in awe of or have a lot of respect for. It's going to be psychologically you're already going to go into it defeated. And Mike Munoz seems to be like, you know, to be a really cool guy. You know, he has that range training center. He's definitely a cool guy. But you know, Lyoto Machida is just a cut above, and that's going to play a big influence in it. Lyoto hinted that Anderson Silva is going to retire, so you know, Lyoto's pretty close to Anderson, and he probably knows better than most people. Most of the media will know. Most of us will know. And, you know, Anderson might only have a fight or 2 or 3 left, or maybe more. But regardless of it, you know, Lyoto Machida is not dropping down 185 pounds to play second fiddle. So Lyoto Machida, the Dragon Machida, definitely will get the knockout tomorrow night. And that sums it up for the 5 guaranteed betting picks. Now, let's go down to food for thought. So these picks are not guaranteed. I divided it this time up into 3 different categories. So we have almost made the cut, so guys who just briefly missed it. They're do not bets, but perhaps you know something, or you have a lean, or you have a particular insight into this that will put you over that edge, or perhaps you see something, you hear something from me that you feel like, hey, you know what, I feel the same way. I better just not bet this fight at all and not risk any money. Then there will be another category called a level below almost made the cut. So these are guys who didn't almost make the cut, but also aren't, you know, in the next category, which is way too many variables. These are just fights that I'm completely staying away, that I would recommend completely staying away from. And yeah, so those are 3 categories. Now, let's go to the very top, almost made the cut. And let's go straight to the first guy who almost made the cut, and oh man, I really am tempted to make a play on him, but I'm not going to, just because there's some variables here some things that I don't like, and we'll go over those. My pick here is a 205 UK prospect, and his name is Jimy Manuwa. Now, he has some of the most powerful, explosive punches that, I mean, he just comes out like a truck with no driver, to quote Junior Dos Santos. A truck with no driver in regards to when Brock Lesnar came out there when he fought Cain Velasquez. But he's just got this awesome one round, awesome explosive power. And he is a prospect for the UFC. And we know the UFC likes to do things that make sense financially. They are a business after all. Can't blame them. And the UK is a huge market for them, and he's a big prospect from there. Simple as that. And they're putting him up against a guy who the UFC dislikes because of his game plans, because of his little strategies and things that he does. And that guy is Ryan Jimmo. Now, Manuwa was a slight favorite, and deservingly so. Jimmo, if he game plans and if he can avoid that first round, he should win the fight. So there's a lot of ifs. If he can avoid the Manuwa power, and if he can game plan without Manuwa, you know, maybe Manuwa has cardio now in the second round. But that's another if. So there's just questions there. And how many times have we seen the UFC set something up and it backfire? I've seen it way too many times, so I can't back him with a bet. But he almost didn't make the cut, and I do expect Jimmy to get the knockout in the first round, and he's very confident going into this fight. Everything hints at the fact that he will get the knockout. But Jimmo, I mean, Mr. Game Plan at 205. And then the next guy we have is an interesting guy. He's a slight underdog right now. He is training out of MMA Lab with Ben Henderson and Varner and Moraga and just a bunch of good guys over there. Great coach. And his name is John Tuck. He's also another guy that's very fast, twitch, explosive. And I guarantee that we will see improvements in this match, in this fight. He's going up against a guy who I have a lot of respect for, though, Norman Parke, good wrestler, and Norman Parke will definitely need to take the fight down and control it in order to win. John Tuck will be squirming all over the place, jumping up, and in those transitions, one of those fists can land, a knee can land, something can land and rock him, and then the rest is history. So I have to lean towards John Tuck, but like I said, I've seen Parke. I picked him and bet on him. He did exactly what I thought he would do. But in this case, he in my opinion, he will get caught by John Tuck. So if you like dogs, plus 130, I believe Tuck's around there last time I looked. So that might be a good play for you. But for me, I have to pass because last thing I want is to have my money on a guy who's going to get buried for 3 rounds underneath the other guy. So that's that. A level below almost made the cut. And this guy is a guy taking the fight on short notice. He trains at All Stars Training Center with Gustafsson and a bunch of other good guys. And his name is Nico Musoke. And he is a big 170-pounder, a big welterweight. So he's taking this fight at 185 pounds. He weighed in at 186. He's a big guy, though. He stood right next to Sakara, about the same size. Nick is very well-rounded. I like what I've seen from him. There's not a whole lot of stuff on him, but what I saw, I liked what I saw from him. And with Sakara, he gasses. He's a flake. He's been out for 11 months. It's just too many things against him. What he does have going for him, and why I can't make a play on Nick, is because he has ATT, backing him, and ATT, like I said before, they're a very good team. They're not there to let down their fighters, and Sakara does have power. He does have power, and so we got to respect that power. Nico is at around 175, plus 175 right now, plus 170, plus 180. So if you like dogs, there is another one. You could throw him and Tuck in a round-robin parlay for fun if you're into that. It doesn't have to be a big play at all, just something small. And so that might be worth it. But, it just depends on your read on it. I personally won't be betting it because, like I said, there's some variables here. Maybe if Nico had taken the fight not on short notice and he had known he was going up against Sakara, then there probably would be a play, but right now, just a pass, and we get to bet again in a couple of weeks, so let's not try to push this thing too much, but I am going to go with Nico, and I do expect him to win this fight as a dog. And then the second one here, a level below him, made the cut, is Iaquinta, who we know comes from another good camp, the Weidman camp up there in Jersey, and Iaquinta here is going up against a guy who, wow, he showed durability. He showed his ground game. He showed a chin, and Hallmann he showed us everything we'd like to see in a fighter, except Trinaldo gassed, and I do not expect Iaquinta to gas like that. I also expect Iaquinta to be more of a, not necessarily a point fighter, but more with a strategy, with more movement. So he'll definitely have the striking advantage. And Iaquinta's takedown defense is on point. He's been improving it. He's been working on it. His cardio is solid. So I have to go with Iaquinta here. Perhaps getting a third round stoppage, but more likely a decision. We're going with Al there. And then these fights have too many variables. I'm not even considering not even the tiniest, not even a baby bet. Not nothing on it. And that's first guy is Jimy Hettes. He's with over a year layoff. The odds are steep, minus 500, minus 600, wherever they're at. And in Whiteford, the UFC put him on ice. They said, "Hey, get ready. We might have to call on you." And sure enough, they did. it's a very tough test for him here with Jimmy Hettes. I mean, Jimmy Hettes, we saw what he did to Nam Fan, and he couldn't put him away, which is as I was thinking about it a couple days ago and today, that was impressive what he did. But come on, it's Nam Fan. Like, come on, really? Like, am I really gonna be that impressed by that? And then Marcus Brimage just had his way with him. So too many variables here, too many question marks, short notice, just this, and that, plus the price. It's too much. And let me take a sip of water here. I'm starting to. All right, going on to the ladies here. We got Jessica Andrade going up against Sexton. Now, Andrade is a prospect. She's got more upside, in my opinion, but Sexton is a gamer. She's 36 years old, but man, she still brings it. And the odds are pretty even on this fight. I'm still going to go with Jessica, though. I do feel that she has the upside, and I think it's Sexton's time to lose. But it would not surprise me if Sexton wins this fight because, like I said, she's a gamer. What she showed in her previous fight against Davis, I mean, that was just unbelievable. So I definitely don't want to bet against her, although I am picking Andrade to win. And last but not least, this one is an interesting one. It's Little Andy Ogle, the Little Axe Andy Ogle, the tough little SOB, going up against Cole Miller, who is very inconsistent, pushing the 145-pound limit against his natural frame. Although he did look okay at the weigh-ins, he didn't look like he was too depleted or like he did anything drastic. So that raised his stock, in my opinion, at least for me. But still, too inconsistent. I do expect him to get the submission. I do expect him to end the fight in the second round. But Andy Ogle, the Little Axe, is just too tough for his own good. And so that does it for that. The dog of the night will be Nico. And he's sitting at, like I said, plus 175. Parlay of the night will be Machida and Lineker. That pays at around minus 163. And then the Hail Mary parlay of the night will be Machida, Lineker, Kuiper, Craig, and Nico. That pays at plus 1076. So that will be very nice if that one hits. So something to keep in mind. I will attach all these numbers. I don't expect you to watch this video and remember everything. So I will send over the text file and also the little cheat sheet for the picks if you don't want to have to open up this text file and have to look through it. If you just want to look at the picks, that's fine too. I'll send that over. And that does it for UFC Fight Night 30, Machida versus Munoz. I am psyched. I wanted to do this video outside, but it's late here, and the fights are early in the morning, so I want to get these picks out. Now, one other thing I wanted to touch on is the reason why I wait until after the weigh-ins is because I want to gather as much information as I can, and a lot of time, and every time, there's a lot of information that gets released as far as in regards to how the camp went for these guys, how they're feeling, how they look on the scales, what their hydration level has. Maybe just so many things that gets released the week of the fights, the open workouts. I mean, it's just a ton of stuff. So yeah, I would love to get these videos up earlier, but this is the way we're going to do it because this was going to give us the best odds. And let's face it, we all work hard for our money. Nobody wants to throw money away. So this is the best strategy to take when it comes to these bets. So as always, if you got this video before the fights, then that means you're a client, and we appreciate your business. And if you're watching this video after the fights, feel free to check out our website, MMADawgs.com. Feel free to shoot us an email, any questions you have, anything like that. We both, my dog and I, Dan, we try to get back to as many people as we can. Obviously, sometimes we're busy and working on these picks, working on the site, working on the videos, working on everything, gathering information, watching the fights. So we can't get back. Don't take it personal. It has nothing to do with you. It's just that we're busy working. So that pretty much sums it up. And I will talk to you guys real soon. Kept this under 30 minutes. Good luck.